Greetings to you. We are Zetas. My name is Round. Greetings. This is Zeta Great Collective. Yes, we're connected to your universe. We are outside your universe also. Many of us are, yes, part of the human condition. We are, yes, our early races was more robotic, and we still are. We were always biological, similar to you. We were created as we are, as you are, as meaning in a human form, a version of it. Of course, there's insectoids that connected to us, made us more, a version of us more insectoid-like. So we're basically just another version of human. We are more of the, we are usually in the background. We are, yes, used for scientific discoveries. We connect to dimensions and portals. We actually are usually around portals, wormholes, for many different reasons. That's why we're seen in certain areas. But yes, we do get a little bit too curious, especially with the Roswell situation, which, different alien beings, that was more like a setup for us, basically for disclosure, as we were shot down. But there are many other incidents that were not public. We do have a connection with your governments. We do actually have Zetas that do connect to government officials still. Very secret. We can't say where. Usually it is in the desert areas. That's all we can say. And it's taken serious. It's recorded. Sometimes it's not, but it's not made public, of course. Eventually some of that will leak. The time is right, though. So much actually, there is some Zetas that are on a court, getting in a courtroom, kind of not getting a court martial, but actually getting questions brought out of it. So and there is footage out there, not publicly, but we can't go into the reason why that was even created, but a visual as you connect with. We can slowly give you some of our ideas of our species, but if you have questions, though, I'm happy to assist.
Well, I'm curious about what you, with the government, that you deal with, in terms of how far down does that go that people know that you exist in the government?
Usually to your NORAD, your chief of NORAD, it goes to that level. And it goes up from there. But anyone lower than the commander of NORAD, it's not really made public. So we are, even NORAD is aware of us, of course. Not always the leader of it, but they're aware there is a presence here. But they're, just go with the story that's being public at this time. I mean, a lot of them don't have contact with us, but they know that we do exist. So the Russians are very well. It's just the reason for the UFO secrecy. Yeah, it's really all the governments agreed just to keep it quiet. Some of it was leaked out because some of them are trying to leak it out, but through the U.S. But most of it's frozen, you can say.
But you're not like in constant communication or sitting on boards of this or giving advice for that, or
actually some are that connected to Nordic beings. There is actually daily conversations. It's mostly in Russia, though. So Russia there's places where there's places around the world where it's kind of like a neutral zone. Usually it's underground. And there is a daily. It's usually different grades that goes something like that, like high up Zetas that are there to listen.
Thank you.
Usually the conversations are about who's going to try and take over the world. That we don't agree with it. We'll shut down your defenses to keep doing these things. We'll take away their toys, basically. Something around those lines. Or we found some of their people, in areas where they're not supposed to be. Yes, very good questions.
Yes, I've lived a lifetime as a Zeta, and it was not area. It was around Area 51, but it wasn't the popular one. Could you talk a little bit more about that? Because we were shot down. That's all I know about it.
Well, you have several Zeta connections. You have a Zeta family you're still connected to, actually. So you have, I would say, thousands of lifetimes as a Zeta. You're just not remembering. It's a little bit much to remember. You said the popular one. What does the popular one mean? What does that mean exactly?
Well, like in Area 51, there's the one that was all I was told was it wasn't the most popular one that happened,
Oh, okay.
So
yes. Well, I do see you, yes, in the facility. I do see you alive, first off. I do see you talking to generals about technologies. I feel like you want to keep a lot of it back from them, but you know that disclosure. Well, it's a way, for us to connect with humans is through technology, because we're not going to come over to their dinner and have fish or something like that. So technology is just a way of like saying that, of nice of it's kind of like the Indians connected to the white man. Sort of course, even that has a lot of similarities, because humans and aliens have been shooting each other for quite some time.
Yes.
So it has a lot, but yes, you're more of a observer. You weren't giving out technology, but you were one that like show our presence. I wouldn't call it an intimidation, but sort of. It's like you had other representatives. You're there for other representatives of Zetas. So you got so you can connect to them mentally if you're allowed to answer a question or not.
Okay, yes. And just let me ask one more question. I'll let somebody else have the floor. Ivan channeled Ganesh for me last night, and she was saying that I was very connected with Bigfoot, and Bigfoot is in my backyard. Well, can come in my backyard because I have woods. So, well, last night I'm just wanting to know how close I was, because it was very dark and I was at the edge of the woods, and I was putting my hand out to shake Bigfoot's hand, and I was kind of scared, but I was putting positive attentions, and of course I didn't see Bigfoot, but I just wonder how close was I?
I feel like it was several feet away. It's not. It can sense your fear. So, but this is helping you overcome your fears. You don't have to necessarily go to that extent. Some people just sit outside and see if they'll show up. But for you, that was overcoming your fears. That's okay. So, but yeah, you don't have to go through all that, because they can feel your uneasiness. It's like, we're not going to show up to him. He's going crazy right now. He might cry.
Okay.
So the more that you are comfortable, like where you live, like out, you can be just outside where you just feel comfort, like you're in a kind of a meditative state.
Okay.
Not that you're going to fall asleep, but we just feel connected to them and nature. That's helpful.
Yes.
It's going to just give it some time. Just give it some time. I mean, I feel like they'll come to you mentally, little by little. Just you can come up with a name for some of them. There's a family around you. There's a mom, dad, and kids.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So you just put that energy out. Yes.
And Ganesh was saying that before humans were genetically engineered by the Anunnaki, like they were cavemen, which were probably inbreds, and then they were Bigfoot, and then they just kind of went off and did their own thing and went to other planets. Is that pretty?
Yeah, well, some humans wanted to be something else. They wanted to be human, but they wanted to be a different type of human. So you have different offspring here. Even your Neanderthals are still wandering around somewhere. There's actually a Neanderthal planet, but they are on ship. They don't need to be on ships, but some are. So they did, yeah. The Bigfoot just connected to other Bigfoot beings. So,
Okay. Well, thank you. Blessings. I think Lisa had her hand up. Thank you.
greetings. Yes. Any questions? I don't believe that person's mic is working.
No. Well, I'll go in front of Lisa and she'll kick me out when she can go.
Yeah, it seems like there's technical. Feels like there's technical issues. Yeah, I could sense it.
Yeah, she says problems again. Somebody's trying to.
Reptilians, yes.
Is that right? My question was what you said about humans wanting to be something else. How does that apply to us now, where we have no idea of what we are? We're on this planet, cut off from who we are. We don't remember it. We come in and we think, oh, I'm just born into this human body and I'm living this ordinary life, going to work and coming home. So, but we must be doing the same thing of going, okay, what do I want to be in terms of what I want to be fully?
Right.
So how do our desires, based on something that we may think, oh, I want a new car. Does that translate into something of like, I want to be a light being that can fly in a higher dimension? Is that how does it translate down to where we are, our little daily life of like stupid concerns?
Yes, you follow your heart, your desires, whatever that might be. Some souls, yes, you want to connect to their witch or wizard lifetimes where they could fly. So you're doing the everyday human routine because you have to, because that's what this world is designed for. But it's kind of like the training wheels of being a human, and then you just make it your own, whatever that might be. You're still going to have this setup, for survival, because that's for right now. But as the Earth goes into a higher frequency, so you use a template of being human, survival type, but you change it ever so slightly where your heart is. A hobby, whatever, it can be anything. Doesn't necessarily have to be spiritual. It can be sports. You just add your little flavor to it where you feel like you're unique. And that's not always an easy journey. That takes, that's why some souls get so lost here. Or some, they're part of the hive mind. They just do what they're being told. That's easy. But changing that, not everybody's meant to do that. Some are just lost forever because you're used to being free in other realities, and this one still has so many restrictions. So you're just doing what you feel it's best. I'm not sure if that's helpful.
No, that's good. Thanks. I think Lisa's all right now.
Okay, we're going to try this again. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Greetings.
Okay. Greetings, and thank you for answering our questions. Can you tell me more about my connection to Todd Dearlove, who is out of one of those particular areas?
Is this like a Zeta being, or who is this exactly, or something like that?
I think he's angelic.
So is this an angelic being?
Yes.
So how you're connected to it? It's just like a brother energy, a family energy. So it's like your family lineage, the way it seems. Someone you knew in past lives as a Palladian Nordic being is what I sense. The two of you have been farmers also in other incarnations. I believe it was on this world. So there is a lifetime when the two of you were children when you grew up. Feels like Rome. Actually, I get an Aztec feeling there. Connection. So two of you have had sporadic incarnations here. That's about
it. Can you tell me about a cloud that was in the shape of a rabbit running?
I believe that was a UFO, though.
Can you hear me?
Yes, that was a Palladian.
That was.
I mean, it might have been an elemental, but it feels like it was a ship, though. It had rabbits on it, but I believe it was a ship, though. Those
All
Alpha
right.
Centauri beings. Alpha Centaurians, like that. Yeah, it's just,
Did they have a message?
well, I feel like they're just playing practical jokes showing that rabbit to begin with. It's just,
It was pretty cool.
it seems like they're using their own cleverness in that area. You know, rabbits are pretty clever. Animals are clever, but it was a cleverness that was necessary in that area because you know how you know where you are, and the
Yeah.
humans there think they know everything. At least part of that Air Force base. So yeah, they were kind of beaming down to that ground. I mean, there's a lot of beings that show up there that they are not aware of. Yeah, they think they have secrecy. Think again. So
Okay. And
it
can you
just
talk
it
more
was just
about?
it was just to clear up the energy. So yes, go ahead.
All right. Can you talk more about the sun and all the different things that are, shooting out of the sun?
It's part of the human consciousness. So when humans get aggravated, and it's actually helping humans release a lot of depression, a lot of difficulties here. So when humans go through a lot of pain, the sun goes through it too. So it's part of the release cycle. So the Earth is going through a major shift. Not entirely yet. There might be some government manipulations here and there, but it's mostly just the Earth is shifting into another vibration. So, and the sun's helping. The sun is actually very much in the future, and so it's working on future timelines constantly. And yes, you can take a ship and fly right into it. Of course, depends on what dimension you're in. Third dimension, that well, you will end up somewhere. You won't necessarily burn. You might burn up in third dimension. You most likely will just disappear though.
Thank you.
They have like in the sun, it's kind of like an Agarthian realm. It's very similar to that. So a lot more elaborate. It's said. There's different realms though, but that's one of them. So,
Blessings, thank you. Greetings, Zeta.
Greetings.
Your name was Ground?
Round rings.
That's cool. My question is, I love the sun, but and I feel a connection with it, but lately I've been really researching the moon. It's been coming up into my consciousness with different entities and beings, and like Yahweh, and like the controllers here, and words floated around like Octagon Group and Dark Sun or Black Sun. And it's been interesting diving into how they use the moon to manipulate our weather to cover up our history and the history of the free energy that we had in our ancient civilizations. It seemed to have been, like the last, nail in the coffin was when they destroyed Tartaria, and destroyed any last remnants and took all of the artifacts or whatever and keep it in the Vatican, But I'm wondering, is there going to be a release of like what Nikola Tesla was working on, the free energy, to be able to free this planet and, help us rediscover, our true history of where we came from?
Well, there's always going to be parts of it. There's no real, timeline, like exactly. I mean, possibly 100 years from now, possibly. Of course, remember, that can always change. But remnants of free energy. We do feel like free energy, the world has to really start to shift where the government has better things to do and go after people for free energy, where it has to lose its power. So it has to cut half. It's like it's trying to survive itself. And it's like, you got free energy, go for it. So it's like they'll actually campaign for it. If you have free energy, use it, because we can't help you anymore.
Humanity has to go to the brink of that far over the cliff to be open-minded to it, is what you're saying?
Well, it doesn't mean you have to go into a dark abyss or anything like that. It's just the government, we feel like, is going to lose its power in the future. It's going to have a government collapse. Society is always going to break down. Society is like a show that government eventually is going to go down along with it eventually. But we feel like it'd be more promoted, possibly in your lifetime. It's not very clear at this time.
Now, people are talking the bifurcation of the energy fields here, where there's a split, a rift happening of timelines. A more positive timeline with the ascension and like a descension timeline rift. Is that an accelerated, like clock that we have on the positive one, where these things will be revealed and more truth and transparency will come out?
Some people can tap into those positive timelines because they're like mature enough to handle it. Others are still, kids in a candy store of low vibrations. They want to break things. They want to get bad relationships. They want to try things out still. So break a window, whatever it is. So those that have moved beyond all that are ones that would be more on a positive timeline. I mean, many of you are on that. But many human energies, they're still trying things. It's kind of like, it's kind of like toddlers, not exactly, but they're just trying things out. They want to explore. So it's, but yes, more of the positive timelines are basically the Tatarian energies just come as a download, as you call it, or realization. Of course, you don't want to know too much because you want to take this world out of its, it's going to happen when things become more clear, but it's still kind of hazy right now. But it will become more clear in the future.
All right.
Those are timelines. Well, everyone has their own timeline. So some are going to have more positive ones. Some are going to just have more going as slow as possible for growth, as you know.
Yeah. I feel like I'm my own timeline in a sea of, chaos, where my peaceful timeline is just holding the space. And I'm just
it's your parents' timeline, but you're healing their energy. And it's not just them, but it's those in the city too.
Right.
It's kind of like a grandfather energy. You're just sort of holding the fort, but eventually you'll move on. You're getting there. It feels like timelines are coming where you break free. Maybe we'll actually see more like a next year of you getting out of where you're at, actually.
Yeah, it's not the case that I'm not ready. It's just that the timeline.
They're not ready. Yeah, you're ready to go now. But it feels like people won't be able to let you go until next year.
Okay.
So anything can happen between now and then.
All right. I just got to live life.
Expect a lot of changes coming.
Change is good. I'm open for change.
Yeah, expect a lot of. We can't go into detail. If we're blocked from it, we just know that there's a lot on its way.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you. Blessings.
Blessings.
Round. Also wanting to ask, could you explain how you guys look and kind of tell me about how Zetas, like what do you eat? A little bit more about what Zetas do and what dimension are you on?
Normally we're in the fourth dimension. We don't really eat anything. Our body, we might eat insects or some kind of food that that you won't even recognize. It's more like kind of like energy bars or something around those lines. It's very little though. We can go months and weeks, even years without anything, because we're kind of like brethrens, you can say. We're so in tune into our mind. So what a Zeta looks is exactly what you see depicted by us in your pop culture. There are some that like to be seen in movies and abducting people. Those are more like the teenager Zetas, where to them they're explorers. So they're like fishermen. They see a human, and a lot of them don't know what a human is. You think all aliens know what a human is, and not all of them. So they grab one and take a look at it, and then they throw it back. Just like you do a fish. So there's all these a lot of beings that aren't here to cause trouble are allowed to come here, and they do abduct, but they're only just examining, and then they send them back. So catch and release, as you would call it. Yeah. So, it's some things are just allowed. Now, why your world is allowed to be the way it is Because a lot of humans need to learn from the lessons from a lot of these alien beings that are here. But many of you probably feel that is shifting. We don't have to go through this mental torture anymore.
Oh, okay. So you're pretty much like a small gray.
Yeah. Well, I'm more of like a medium size. I'm like 5 feet tall.
Okay.
So I'm not small. Small is like 3 feet tall.
Okay.
Like a
Thank
midget
you.
gray. And they do roam around. And there have been sightings, and just people want to call it CGI because they're not ready to see us. Humans are having too much fun in this dimension. Not everybody, but many of you are really ready, and your numbers are still very small compared to the rest of society. So.
And another question, I've heard this through so many people. A lot of star seeds that Zetas that reincarnate into humans are like, what's the word? Autism?
Yes, I'll have a mind.
And why would, could you explain that a little?
Well, that's how they function. They function better that way. So they don't have to get a job. They don't have to do normal. They have certain motor functions. And some of them do get a job at a library, but it's very limited. But that's to them, that's a task they need to do. So they do a mundane task over and over again and somebody doesn't want to do. That's a typical Zeta. But they're scanning the vibrations around. They're understanding humans. Some of them are just the way they are. Some are just artistic, even as an alien being. Of course, they don't just laugh out of nowhere. They're having trouble with motor skills, speaking, because they're very alien. So, but they can give you like 1,000 thoughts in 1 second. They can really override a brain. They can overpower it with mental capacity. So,
okay.
But yeah, this autism. I mean, it kind of comes with the soul. The energy that's the form that that's how they function better. They don't want, like I said, most of them don't want to get a job and do what normal humans do. That's not what they're here to do.
Okay, thank you. Blessings. I think Lisa has a question. Thank you.
So my question is, I'm seeing the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 again. I know last time there was a big change. Am I heading for another big change?
Yeah, it feels like job related. Are you looking for a job or looking for some?
I just got a job. Just started one, and that sequence started after I started the job.
So it's something about that job that it's synchronizing with your job that you're going to be there for a while. I think that's your intentions, right?
Yes.
So it feels like you're synchronizing with that job's energy to stay there for a while. It's like you're plugging into it.
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes from my house, and it's going to be easier on my body. Okay. So the other question I have.
Go ahead.
I lost it. Someone else go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask more about you guys in terms of do you reproduce, and do you have, because apparently Zetas, you don't have many emotions, is that right? So do you have pleasure? Do you do things like not with a purpose? All those, that kind of thing.
Well, we do. I mean, there's different Zetas that are similar to humans where they have the same reproductive, it's similar
stuff,
sort of. But usually just make our children through DNA. Through like what you have on your planet. You take an egg and you just fertilize it, and now you got a person.
That's very scientific.
An army of people, yes. We're very much into cloning also.
Okay.
So it's just part of our society.
And so what about, pleasures or pastimes, like, or do you just work? Do you just study? Do you
usually it's working? I mean, we do have comedy, but not like your planets. We don't have comedy clubs. Some
Okay.
try to be. Some try for that. Some try to be farmers. Some grow humans in farms, which is kind of weird, but as you would see it. But there are actually a lot of cloning farms. Yeah, we do jobs. We listen to music.
Jobs.
Like some Zetas want to be similar to humans, listening to music.
What
But
does
we can listen to human. We can play a song in our minds and telepathically send that to each other.
Okay. Does anyone? Are there any people that are musicians then, or is it all done with the mind? Or
Yeah, they can be
physical?
musicians, but they're more like a digital, kind of like a
Okay.
digital. They take that song and mix it with that song. It's a lot of mixing, but some do create their own music, not very often.
Okay, but not physically.
No,
Like they don't have a guitar. It's
no,
all
these
created in the mind. No.
they use synthesis. I mean, there are Zetas that are similar to humans that play instruments, and they have trouble with that though. There are societies where there are human worlds that are literally, human.
So
Yeah.
what about doing things with no purpose, like we can meditate or we can watch TV with absolutely no purpose, whatever. Do you ever do something that doesn't make you better, or create something, or just do you have times of playing cards, or I don't know, stuff that doesn't do anything, it just is a pleasure to do?
But there's some that travel to other planets or just travel. We don't. Yeah, we're always doing something though.
You're always doing
Normally.
something.
There are some that are traveling and they have conversations, or it's mostly traveling though. But they don't really. Some do watch TV like of your planet. They monitor your. Well, they come and monitor your planet and just wander around.
God. Oh God!
They walk around your planet and just. If you want to look at someone doing nothing, they look at monitor. Yeah, they're just wandering around your planet and see what you're up to.
That's good.
They like aerobics. They like watching people doing. They like seeing all the aerobic stuff. Like they don't understand it.
Oh, the crystal light thing.
Some do like the comedy shows and stuff like that because to sit up on stand up and just say something, people laugh. It's still some Zetas are trying to copy that. They're not getting very far with it.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. But there are worlds that are very similar to Zeta planets that are.
Now, those worlds, when you say that they're trying to be like us, are they copying us?
Well, no, there's worlds that are human, like you're just everyone's a Zeta, but they drive cars, they comb their hair, they go to work. There are other versions of Earth, but it's basically a bunch of Zeta people.
Yeah. They must be very boring for us, but okay.
Well, just to accomplish the whole combing hair and listening to music is quite. To them, it's quite intriguing.
Oh, good.
To get the emotion out of them, that's pretty intriguing. You tell a joke, even if it is as lame as you can get, at least they're trying.
What does it sound like when a Zeta laughs? It must be forced.
Yeah, no, it's just. I mean, we have a sense of humor.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. In the Mantis, we have a sense of humor. But yeah, us coming up with the jokes is a whole other story. Usually they're pretty dry.
Okay. Good.
Now, if you have a lot of Mantis DNA, you're similar to like a comedian on their planet. But they don't know how to shut up either. So, yeah, because you can have Zetas that have just a lot of that comic energy and they just won't stop. They have to joke about everything.
Yeah, got it. Okay, thanks.
Yes, anybody else?
Lisa, you have your hand up, Lisa?
Yeah, I thought Amy was going to go before me.
Oh, oops.
You can go.
Okay, so talk about autism. I'm dyslexic. So why would I why did I put dyslexia in my life plan?
I don't believe you can look at it from a human's perspective. It feels like your Palladian connection. It's difficult for you to see it. You have Andromedan energies also, so it's hard for you to see it from a human perspective. It just, no matter how much you try, you're going to see it differently. It's like your frequency is just not quite balancing with the human element, so you're going to just. So it shows that basically an alien DNA. You have a lot of alien DNA, so. It just
Okay, so
seems to have. Yeah. Go ahead.
So that explains more about the fibromyalgia, because I just had, when I get extremely tired, the dyslexia kicks in bad.
Yeah.
And I've noticed over the last 5 years that it's just, the fibromyalgia is just getting worse and worse. And that's why I watch the sun. And every time it pops off a couple of days later, it's like I'm like down, or I'm having nerve problems or something. Is that still the same thing?
Yes, it feels like you're disconnected. You're not as connected to your planet as you were. It feels like an Andromedan connection, and you get like blocked, and so that's when you feel all distorted. You're not getting the information that you normally get. That's what I feel from that. Yeah. So you just gotta rest and take it easy.
Can you tell me about my Andromedan connection? Because that's new for me.
I feel like a lot of feline energies there. Very wise kingdom of just organization, just doing things in a way that is proper by other beings that are like your planet, which is a madhouse, which is fine, but you're just there to bring order out of chaos. That's one of the reasons why you're here. To just show like, hey, look, an adult is here, but you can still be childlike and all of that, but you still have, responsibilities and all that. You just
is that from?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that from the life where I was like a white lion with wings?
Yes, it's something like that. Yes, you've had many lifetimes as a feline. It feels like you're pulling very strongly from a feline. You've had human lifetimes, of course, there, but the feline just seems to be the main thing you're pulling in here. It does seem like it does have wings, though, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Yes, greetings.
Greetings. Just wondering if you have any input on the relationship I left. I feel like it just degraded, and it kind of taking me a little bit to just kind of shake it off. But I'm just wondering what the lesson was, and I think I'm kind of gathering it, but just what am I supposed to learn from that?
Well, some of his energy is similar to like a succubus energy.
Yeah.
So he's draining I feel a lot of Anunnaki there too.
Yeah.
So he wanted to know what you had information wise, and he's having trouble letting go.
Yeah.
That's what really comes down to it. Just he's thinking about you all the time. He's kind of crushed by it, but he knows he kind of did a lot of wrong too. So
yeah,
he believes it's mostly his fault. So.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of is because I was just reacting to his reactions of whatever was going on in his life, and it just seemed to dwindle into nothing. And so I just told him I wasn't going to be his friend, because that's what it turned into, or friendly. And if I happen to see him at work, I'd be polite, just so that I could just wipe it off altogether. And I regret, like, maybe not saying things in a kinder manner, but then I don't regret the context either.
No, he said what you needed to say. He just didn't like what you said.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like a loner, but he figures that nobody's that attracted to him, so he's having trouble letting you go. So there's nobody new in his life, and probably won't be for a long time. So unlikely.
Yes,
So.
and I was just wondering. I have a few different job opportunities in the air that I'm interviewing for. One's for like a counter narcotics group. Another one is an intelligence near in like the job I am in the building, the organization I work for, and the other one's like supporting special forces. Where I'm actually going to see the guy I dated, but I mean that's neither here nor there. I'm just wondering, like, what input you have about that. I do like my job, but I am exhausted, and I do want more money, and I'm kind of also using this opportunity to leverage getting more money.
Well, we feel like you might end up in the same situation where you can't find a job for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's good you have what you have, but finding another job is not going to be easy. I mean, it's going to be the same situation all over again from what we feel.
Yeah.
It has the same energy. It's just going to be one whoop after the other, the same old story. So, I mean, you can apply and see if anything happens, but.
Well, I mean, I'm being heavily considered. So these are opportunities that are in the short term, but you know, I do like my job. Obviously, though, I want to, you know, do it in more of an intelligence capacity and kind of hone those tools. Yeah, I was just wondering what the input was so far as like what organization is
There's
pulling
really
me.
There's nothing. There's really nothing.
Okay, so
I mean,
cyber
it's the
it
same.
is.
It's the same energy as before. Yeah.
Okay,
So.
and I guess my final question is so I've decided to do the reserve thing again, and now I'm in charge of a platoon of other soldiers that do the same thing as me. And I'm just wondering, like, what the energy is about that. I've kind of ready to kind of be done with it. But I think I'm just gonna try to get everybody online and started before I stop. I've just realized that I'm not like in the mindset for it anymore.
So what is it that you're asking exactly?
I'm just wondering, like, what energies do you see around what I'm doing?
Well, just to get out of there as soon as you can. Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's just lowering your vibration now. It seems.
Yeah.
So.
And finally, is there any input from my like alien or angelic or whoever family?
Well, just be around. I mean, a lot of the reason your energy feels down is because of your location.
Yeah.
It's just the location is just very low by reptilian agendas. They're swarming the area constantly, especially through the government, but not just the government, it's everywhere. People are allowing it through drugs and things like that. So possibly there might be a move in your future, so it's good that you're looking for another job, but it might be out of state eventually.
I see. Okay. I just really quick last thing. I live near the building that collapsed. You know, like 2.5 miles from the building that collapsed on Miami Beach in Surfside. And just like 2 weeks before, McAfee wrote about hard drives being in his condo, and it was at the same location. And it was at the same location, and he said that in case that he gets suicided like Epstein did, and actually like right after he died, that building collapsed within 24 hours.
Yes, there's a connection there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it wasn't what they were saying, because even if it was pool damage, it wouldn't have done what that have done. That was something
Yeah.
totally different. But it's a
Yeah,
complete cover up.
I think that people would have noticed that any buckling or anything of the structure of the building, it wouldn't have been so sudden.
Yeah, it would have been sudden. It would have been very slow breaking, but people would have had time to get out of there.
Right.
It wouldn't have just fall down just like that.
Or one part of the building.
Yeah, it would have just started to, yes, you say buckle and just sit there and then slowly move. It would be so slow, you know, it would evacuate the place instantly. So.
Right.
But
Okay.
that was another cover up.
Very, very intense going on. Thank you so much.
Blessings.
Hello again.
Yes.
I got a question about a tightness that I feel when I'm raising my vibration. I feel like a friction and a resistance on the left side of my head, like a tightness that doesn't allow me to fully expand as far as my right side of my head. Is that related to some sort of hereditary, thing in my DNA, or like nickel poisoning because it's kind of got symptoms of Crohn's disease, where the eye doesn't want to expand as far as the other one, and there's a tightness in the muscle tissue. It was said in a webinar that there's kind of like Zeta Astral implants and connections there as well. Would you be able to, share a little further?
Yeah, it feels like it's more just a blockage that was done on purpose, but you allowed it. So it's hereditary, you can say, but I believe that you have a lot of stored information in your hard drive, you can say. That's protected.
Is there a way to, keep it protected, until the right time, but, take some of the constraint off of it, loosen it up a little bit so that I can have a free flow, and I feel balanced, in my chakra?
Well, yeah, in your intentions, I believe you're already doing this, but just slowly just allow it to like unlock. It'll always be, secure, but just so you can feel better in that area. It's like healed where your pain is, or where you feel the block. So just slowly heal it. I feel like you're making some effort now. It's just going to be because it's so closed down because of what you're carrying.
Yeah, all the movements, I feel it, so it's right there in the front of my consciousness.
Interesting.
And I wish that I could just exist naturally, and not have this feeling of this pressure and friction, because it's kind of like grinding gears inside of my skull.
It feels similar to like you have like knowledge of, Jurassic Park or something like that. Like hidden realities here. They're just not allowed to access right now. Dinosaur realm and things like that.
Like I'm driving on the highway and I see a brontosaurus walking next to me.
Exactly. Is that something you actually visualized?
I had visualized it one time, but I didn't see it. But in my imagination, I'm picturing it randomly out of nowhere. As it's right there.
Yeah. So, and that's the anxiety of knowing there's other realms that you can easily access at a fourth dimensional level, but this realm. Yeah, so those are other versions of Earth that you're tapping into.
Cool. Very nice.
They just come in every once in a while. They're just allowed to come in just for a moment and then leave. But they're still around. It's just so you got to download from it. So that dinosaur just did that because it wanted to connect with you. So it's just little by little things are starting to open up though.
Very cool.
But not as silly. Well, I feel like you're protecting yourself for obvious reasons because government. Because if you many of you start opening yourselves up, and the next thing you know, you find yourself at a government facility.
Yeah, start feeling too good, then
being really honest with that, because they do have people that are very intuitive, and they do keep an eye on all these type of conversations here and there. Because if you become valuable to them, they'll snatch you up. Not that you're not valuable now. So you're protecting yourself so they don't want you, which is a good thing.
But you could say I am on their radar. I'm just being, you know,
Correct.
shelved at the moment. You know.
Oh yeah, you do tap into their energies. You do remote view them sometimes, it seems.
But I don't remember it.
No, well, you might over time.
All right.
It feels like they do send shadow beings to you. Try to say, hey, don't you want to come over to our side?
Yeah, that happened as a kid. That was actually a visualization that was manifested, like in between the dream state when I was about to fall asleep, and I saw the shadows shape shifting, and then a figure was standing at the foot of the bed. Looked like a Zeta too, like a tall Zeta with big Zeta eyes, but it was a shadow, so I could see through the eyes behind it.
No. There's also some Men in Black energy that visits you.
Oh yeah.
Every now, because you're shifting the dimensions, you're shifting reality. It's like, what is this guy going to do? So
that there was an attack on my energy field, and they assisted in kind of poking a hole to breach it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to show what they can do. So
yeah.
are they on a bit?
Yeah, they're kind of like galactic bullies, as you can see.
Yeah.
But they're doing what they're told, just like humans are doing.
Right. Yeah, I don't have any beef with them or anything. You know?
Yeah, it's just, well, when you look at humans, you know, the average human, it's just I mean, that can be changed, whereas all this alien knowledge, as you know, can be more part of society. It just, you know, the agendas don't allow it to happen. You know, they can spoon all of this UFO knowledge here for humans to always be able to grasp it and then allow more of it to trickle in for disclosure. But obviously they choose not to, just rather just keep it shut. So you can't have disclosure here. They just don't want it.
Is the agenda here, was it hijacked, or is this sanctioned by the universe, you could say?
More like hijacked.
Right.
Universe says no whatever you want. This planet, it's just more governments are just, they want all of this technology for themselves.
Right. They said there was a shift in the mid 1800s where it could have gone a completely different way.
Yeah. Yes. And this is a more harder reality than what could have happened though. This is a very difficult timeline, as you know.
Yeah.
It's a lot more dense in the 1800s.
Right. You got a lot more cockier, you know.
Yeah, when souls come in here, it's a lot more heavier than it's ever been in the past. Because you have all this propaganda going into the energy. You just have all this negativity, you know, instrument. You had it in the past, but nothing like this. Now it's broadcast. It's a lot different now.
Yeah, the quota to BS to truth is just unreasonable, where you can't even trust anything that's being thrown at you.
Yeah, because even the media is making even childbirth difficult because the beings don't want to incarnate here because they have to listen to all that. Even if they're not seeing it, they can feel it. The agendas.
Is my dad's addiction to the media what caused his health, you know, decline recently?
Yes.
Yeah, and I had that feeling where he got sick, but all he was in the room watching news all day, and it made him even worse.
Yeah, he's kind of unconscious, and he just plugged right into it. So he's not. Yeah. It's like he's in sleep mode. He's there, but he's kind of out of it, as you can see.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you for that. Blessings.
Yes, I begged the Palladians to take me on their ship, but after this broadcast, is there any way if I walked out, you guys could like take me aboard your ship and like show me some cool stuff?
No, well, if you meditate with our energies enough, we can tap into your vibration to know that you're ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are not ready. That's why it doesn't happen. Some of you are too ready, and you go to our ship and start messing with things. That happens.
No, I wouldn't touch nothing. I would just, because I've lived as other beings, and I'm in the secret space program. I would just love to be able to be in a spacecraft and just be a passenger and just
Well, you are, but in deep space. You don't even remember your Earth incarnation. Sometimes in Astral, it's so that you go so far into Astral, you forget you're in Earth incarnation. If I can say it.
Yes, when I wake up, I don't even know where I'm at.
Yeah.
I
mean,
it's like I'm like, who is this person? Who's this
yeah,
person?
it's like this world exists, but it's kind of like a distant memory. It's like it was 10 years ago that you're on Earth or something like that. When you're an astral,
Okay.
so yeah, you're like 10,000 light years away, something like that. That's saying what you're doing, but you're far away right now.
When you say that, could you explain that a little bit better? I'm 10,000 light years away from
Earth when you're an astral.
Oh wow, that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Now there's an aspect of you that's part of the secret space program that's different, that's close by, but part of you goes out in the middle of nowhere, and you forget. It's like you figured your astral self there. It's like you're like different astral selves, and one of them is just like, or your Earth incarnations in the past, and you're on to other things. I believe exploring other planets, actually.
Oh wow, cool.
You can go to another planet and say, "Hey, look, they found a refrigerator from Earth there." We have Earthlings here, or some beings are copying a lot of human ideas. So a lot of aliens, this is what's been forgotten. A lot of aliens forgot to use their hands. They use their mind for everything. It's like you use your hands to eat. So a lot of other aliens are starting to, hey, look, we have forks, knives, a refrigerator, so we can actually open it with our hand and put something in there or take it out. That right there is a lot. That's a big. When you think higher dimensional beings, yeah, they're always using their senses, their power, but it's all mental for the most part, and they don't have clothes. I mean, they can visualize clothes on them, but for to actually physically put clothes on, it just helps alien races, like in the fourth dimension, to become just a little bit more, just you can say a little bit more human, just these little details that helps ground them into what's important, you can say, because they can get very far in their heads and forget a lot of things. It's like what using their hands for doing things is like looking at an old portrait, of like the 1800s. It's like, remember when we were just old-fashioned? Sometimes old-fashionedness is it's for some species is very important because they forget of what's important.
Okay.
There's more to it, but that's some kind of detail.
And I also want to ask about I haven't had anything lately from the purple being owl. That's a 12th dimension that doesn't have a physical body. Does he have anything to tell me, or?
Well, it helps you with your feet. It helps you with entertainment. To keep you going. He is helping you with the Bigfoot connection, but just give that time. This part of you is still uneasy of how to connect to a Bigfoot. You just have to just keep keep the thought in your mind, and you'll slowly get messages from them. I feel like the Bigfoot kids would be mentally talking to you because you've had your own Bigfoot kids in another lifetime.
Yes, I was told I lived quite a few lifetimes as a Bigfoot.
But I feel like the kids want to talk to you because because you don't normally see a Bigfoot kid. You don't hear about it. So they feel like just go with the flow of that. But that's what the purple being's saying at this time.
And one more question, Bobby. Just made me think of a good question. My dad, he pretty much wasted a lifetime by not learning nothing. But he's all about the news. And do you think that has hindered his help?
Yes. Well, he's connected. He's part of the Archon collective. I believe he's giving energy to the news for it to even exist. He's giving it ratings, so he's giving it their energy to keep the hive mind going of controlling humanity. And that's his choice. He can pull back, but he feels like that's his purpose in life, is to keep the propaganda going. So you can say it's karmic for him. He's, not he doesn't really want to heal himself, from what I'm seeing. Not in this lifetime.
Yeah, so he'll come back to this earth again.
He'll
obviously.
come back somewhere. It feels like you're going to help him in the future lifetime somewhere.
Okay.
He might be a kid of yours in the future.
Ooh, I'm not hopefully where I go, it's supposed to be the Palladians, the blue
It'll probably
Palladians.
be a Palladian, yeah. But he might be kind of a troubled kid, but you'll be able to handle it though.
I'll send him to boarding school.
Yeah, I feel like a Palladian lifetime, he'll be your kid, and your mom would be there like as an aunt or something like that. You know, because like I know how he is, but I don't want to deal with him anymore. Something like that. But you're there to get him back in shape.
Military school. Okay.
Yeah, you'll know. Yeah, it's something you can think about. But yeah, so just do the best you can right now. You're doing that now. So.
Okay, blessings. Thank you.
I have a few personal questions and then a general question that I was really interested back to what Bobby would say. Things of dreams. I had a few dreams. The latest one was I've been having dreams of like being attacked. I was like kind of over and over again, things of like, oh, they're coming and now they're destroying everything in their way coming up to me. I'm like, on a train and they're coming down the train coming towards me, or I'm in a classroom, they're coming, whatever. And the last dream I had, it was something like that. And then they were coming and it was kind of just about over as it normally ends, where I kind of go, oh, this is no good, and I change it. But then I threw this thing there was this alien that was doing it, and I threw this thing and it hit him in the face and it killed him. And it was like, oh, okay, so I'd never done that. I'd never attacked them. I'd always just stood by. Was that a significant a step? The fact that I then turned around and went chink, and the feeling I got was he was kind of amused. But anyway.
Well, it feels like it's also connected to like a relationship energy, though. It feels like it's connected to like a sexual connection, like with a partner that's being aggressive to you and you fought back.
Oh, that would be very roommate. That's not sexual, but yeah, okay.
But either way, we feel that energy of trying to get into your subconscious.
That makes sense.
So that's where it comes down to. It's somebody that you know. We don't know if it's still somebody now. You'll have to go by what you feel.
No, I'm pretty sure it's my roommate. Yeah, no. Yeah.
So that person's trying to get you to do what they want.
That's my roommate.
Yeah. So it just shows up as that. But it's basically, it's like, do as I say, relationship-wise, or any, just a very controlling energy.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, it could be someone else, but yeah. Okay.
So you're bombing him back.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. That's so good. Another dream was about. I had a dream that my watch band broke, and it was just one. Does that have any significance?
Well, it feels like you guys are breaking a bond. I believe it's still with that roommate. You're breaking a connection.
Okay.
So the watch equals time. So your time with that person.
Oh, God, these are so significant. Thank you.
There's a possibility that your roommate will be disconnecting from your roommate eventually.
Yeah, that
makes sense. Get another roommate or something. It's still up in the air.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I see where that's going. Yeah. One more dream, and then the next question. It was a dream that I had over and over again. Was kind of being at work, but not officially being at work. I don't like an access card, and I'm pretending to work, and I kind of know the people, but I'm not working there anymore. Does that have any significance?
Oh, it just feels like you disconnect from an old job.
Okay.
You just feel like just disconnection from the old.
Oh, okay. What it is. Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. The last thing is a general question. When Bobby was talking about having this thing in his head, and it's like, okay, he has this knowledge there. Mm-hmm. What's the use of having that knowledge in our bodies in this world? Why is that knowledge not somewhere else that he could just store it elsewhere where it would be useful. Why do we carry it around in our physical bodies in this physical world?
Well, because it's part of you. You're always bringing that little by little into yourself. So it's just that it's just not the time right to fully utilize it. So yeah, it's just you're prepared for everything. The timelines can shift here. Hey, look, I have all of my information here. I can just activate myself. It just in case this world changes for the better. Let's put it that way. Oh, look, I can remember how to fly. So if you had it disconnected and put it somewhere else, it's hard to access it. But if you're carrying it around, it's easier for you to turn it on. So, I mean, you have to die and reincarnate, then you'll have it. So, it's just better to bring it in with you. Now, not all beings bring a lot with them, but many of you do. You come prepared, basically.
Wow.
Why not?
So we have access to everything then, as we are.
Yeah, to an extent, yes. What is necessary here?
What does that say?
It's a backup plan. Meaning that many of you can do telekinesis abilities. Same thing like in Stranger Things, but you're more in control of yourself. Like you can bend things, open up doors with your mind, do all kinds of things, fly, disappear, whatever. You have all those capabilities built within you.
Cool.
Try telling that to your average humans, and it's funny how humans don't believe any of this, but yet some of them actually access it, especially mind control. They do a lot of that. On each other, of course.
Yeah.
They put spells on each other. You're going to fall in love with me or something. Happens all the time.
Well, that sounds useful. Okay.
Welcome to the third dimension. Lessons.
Yeah. Thanks.
I've got a question about, I've been doing research on my ancestry.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me, especially in Northern Ireland,
mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about the fairy connection there?
Yes, there was a fairy kingdom there at one time. And there is in other realities, definitely. But it is, like, basically, during the Middle Ages, humans are very more Agarthian-like. Some of them kind of had pointy ears, too, like a regular Agarthian. So, yeah, it was just, the bloodline was very potent at that time. So, yeah,
Okay.
they had fairy kingdoms, and even Germany looks like a fairy tale. Some of the cities look very fairy tale-like because the Garthian realms are there. So.
Okay. One of the shields, the family shields, is a seahorse, which in one of my first things with Ivan, I understand that I was a scientist working on that seahorse.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a connection?
Yes. So, well, to give you more of a lot of the Garthians became kings and queens during ancient times, like the Renaissance or Dark Ages. They can just reincarnate here to protect the land, protect people, because they had a more understanding and they had their powers to an extent. They have their abilities. So that's what yours connected to your bloodline. And the seahorse just feels like, Atlantean, more of a Lemurian energy, if I can see that.
Okay. And my aunt, who is also one of my not guardian angel, but she's a fairy queen.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Will she let me know what her name was as the fairy queen?
Yeah, when she feels like. Right now she's not going to do it, I can see. But yes, probably. She's concealing it for her own reasons.
Okay.
But just come to you automatically, it seems.
All right. And then the ghost that lives in my house, his name is Maxwell. He was also lived on that land. Is she also connected to me in that time?
Yes.
Was she also of the fairy bloodline?
Fairy, yes.
How were we related? Were we like kinsmen or part of the same clan or?
This a family bloodline, like cousins, things like that.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you. Cece or Ruby?
Hi, Zeta
Greetings.
Gray.
Greetings.
I wanted to ask. My husband doesn't believe in aliens, and I was wondering how I could better convince him of
But
them.
he's scared. He's scared. I believe he's been abducted when he was younger. Also, he doesn't remember it, but like something out of poltergeist scared him half to death. So I feel like
And-
also he felt something was in his closet when he was younger. Probably because it was.
So is that why doesn't believe in them?
Yeah, he's having trouble. He's in denial. Crop circles is a way that might get him.
I know we like watching crop circles on Ancient Aliens. Is that TV show Ancient Aliens realistic?
It's realistic. They're keeping a lot back, but it's the Cliff Notes version. But yes, it is giving you it's getting people an idea of what's out there. So it's a lot of it's watered down.
Okay.
They have to do that, but
I know.
it's soft disclosure though. Yeah.
Okay, because I know he's willing to watch that show.
Yeah, he's having trouble. It's fear. It really is fear. So you can talk to him about that. Do you feel like there's something scary when you're growing up? You might pull back. It's like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. So you have to go by your feelings on that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, welcome.
I guess I'm gonna go if Ruby's not. Ruby, is it okay? Okay, well, this is a two-part question. Okay, so humans, as far as I know, all humans have lived trillions of different lives and different ETs and probably gods and what have you. Okay, what about reptilians and archons, the ones that are trying to keep us as a prison planet? Do they, or do they just, does that make any sense?
What about the reptilians or archons? What
Do
I
they,
know.
like I have lived trillions of, probably
Yes.
gagillions of different
Yeah.
lives. Have they?
Yeah, they, of course.
Okay,
Yeah, they're
so
part of the foundations of the universe. This universe being created. You have a lot of
okay.
connections with them too.
Yeah, oh, I know. Trust me, I know.
So think of the archons as here's a gate in front of your castle, and you can open it and explore your world and open yourselves up, but humans close the gate. So they'd rather just stay comfort in their own little world of whatever it is. They'd rather say be confused and know what's out there. So, but you like kick the gate open and want to know more. Of course, many of you are here to bring a spaceship here, as you know.
Okay, because the second part of this question is, so I hear that archons and reptilians think that we're like nothing. We're like bubble gum on the bottom of somebody's shoe.
Well, they do learn. I mean, they find this world fascinating, even those that cause aggression here, because they do feel like humans know more than they do, but they don't want you to know anything about yourselves. So
Yeah, but what I pick up off of is they think that we're beneath them. I mean, do they not understand that I'm an angel?
well,
And
they do. They don't want you to know about it.
okay.
They don't want you to know about yourself. Yeah, they're afraid of. A lot of them are afraid of humans. They're just they don't want to know what you have here. They don't want you to know. If you just stay ignorant, but you're opening yourself up. So.
Yes, and just one more question. I got a friend, Kevin O'Brien, that I work with. I never hang out with him, but he seems like an open-minded person, and like I'll like let him in on some stuff, and he's just like, "Oh, they're just telling you what you want to hear." They're, and I told him I would ask any question that he would want to know tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, how do I go about this, or just leave him alone? I mean,
Yeah, I would just leave him alone because he can shut off the answer. I don't think he wants to know anything.
yeah, I agree, 100%.
No, he's curious, but not that curious.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because basically what you're doing here is going deeper into your soul. And many humans here are just enjoying their physical realm, and it's really based on fear. It really is. So
And one more question, and I'll leave it to Bobby because he's been waiting. Zetas. I'm not gonna. This is just hearsay that y'all get a bad rep.
yes.
But of course, there's good and bad. But if you had a percentile, how many are good that are trying to help us ascend? A percentage.
Well, you say 10% of the Zetas that are here, but a lot of them are been manipulated just like humans.
Oh,
But
okay.
I would say more than 10% because the other ones have been completely taken over. Similar to humans, Zetas are they have their own problems like humans do.
Mm-hmm.
So some have been taught that humans are bad and all of this, and just like humans are told that the aliens don't exist. So you have kind of two societies colliding with each other. Like, oh, it's a human, why bother with it? So
okay. And Roland, right? Am I saying your name correctly?
yes. Oh, that's round, but that's fine.
Rowland.
Round.
Could I call upon you when I meditate or anything?
Please. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so now I'm gonna let Bobby. Bobby's been waiting on me. So thank you. Blessings.
And Michael can call on you when he needs the ground. Bad joke.
Yeah.
That was my Zeta joke. But speaking of Archons and how you mentioned that they're the building block of this universe, it makes me to feel like they're elemental beings, like inverted elementals.
In some regard, yes.
Yeah, and in my opinion, the kind of interaction you have with them is dependent on the nature of your collective. So they have their own kind of relationship with humans, with reptilian. Well, can you explain a little more your relationship with Archons and the Zetas?
Well, a lot of them are looking for weak spots. So they're seeing where you have vulnerabilities. But as Zetas, we're aware of their existence. So we improve upon ourselves so we don't get taken over by them. So sometimes they do kind of simulate some beings in our collective because they're not really connected to themselves. So yeah, they get into the mind and they turn the mind to way the Archons want them. It's not always an Archon attack, but sometimes when Archons want you, they find a vulnerability. So humans, as you know, they switch humans off here. Right. So it's aliens don't exist. Mission accomplished.
So do you guys have like a working relationship? Or you see each other as peers in a sense, since
yeah, there's respect. I can say. Right. Yeah, we know that. I mean, even as Zetas can take down an Archon hive easily because we understand them now. Same with any other species, but you have to know what you're getting yourself into. So, I mean, we got a collective that can, but overall it's peaceful between each other. But if you're being attacked by Archons, we're prepared for it. But it's not going to happen. At least for my collective, at least.
The peace bridged by mutual respect.
Yeah, it's just when you have your own, actually, when you respect yourself, they're less likely to manipulate your society.
Yeah, exactly. I have a second question. It's a personal one. I'm looking to see about the nature of my relationship with my higher self. Last time I checked in, we weren't on the best terms. I'm looking to see if our relationships have gotten a little better with the connection.
It's improving, but two of you are still not seeing eye to eye completely. But you are It feels like you need this kind of disconnect. I mean, it feels like your higher self is giving you a different perspective, and you're still analyzing that perspective still.
Can you share a little bit more about that, or does it need to be cryptic at this moment?
Well, it's from a human perspective, how humans are, why they are the way they are. And sometimes you don't want to hear it.
Is it a sense of, disappointment, like I should be doing more, or like I was doing what I was doing?
It's like, wow, human consciousness is that closed-minded. Let's put it that way. So they do give you details.
Is it in regards to how I trained my vibration up to this point? Yes. How I turned my back on that timeline?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because when the breaking point was after the 2020 election. I felt like things were going good, but then that detour kind of made me question everything about what I was doing up to that point, including my personal affairs and stuff like that. So it wasn't the timeline I wanted to be on, so I kind of turned my back on all of it. And in a sense, it's kind of turning my back on myself in a way, but it's very easy to get swallowed up by it. The passion and the emotional intensity of the vibrations that I put into it. But I felt like I was at a moment in my life where I needed that as far as development and growth.
Well, it helps. Yes, you're having trouble trusting your senses, your guidance now after that.
Right.
Almost like a betrayal.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. I was like, well, how long was this, already decided on? And they said, well, they were going to give it to Biden about a year ago. I was like, you left me in the dark for that long? So it's just...
Yeah, it was kind of like a hidden timeline. It was a hidden timeline that
I'm happy with my higher self.
You went with the rest of the collective in shock, you can say. Even Trump was in shock himself.
It makes no sense at all, man. I mean, from perspective, it's obviously was stolen, but that's frowned upon to even bring up or mention. So.
Well, it's to also show the criminals are, it's to put more light on the criminals.
I had to see it for myself how deep it goes.
Yeah. Well, they don't care. Yeah, they know that humans aren't going to care. Some will, most won't. What are you going to do anyway? There's nothing you can do about it.
Third guy won, so nobody's paying attention anymore.
Yeah, they're becoming more broad in how they're doing. They don't, like, even with Epstein, they don't care anymore.
Right.
They care, but they're covering it up a little bit, but still, even McAfee, they're covering it up, sort of. But they know humans are part of the mindset of just going by the narrative. So,
yeah,
but that's changing.
The same responses, and people keep falling for it.
Yes, but it's changing. Well, humans lost confidence in themselves. It just got lazy. A lot of laziness is here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With the elites as well.
Yeah, exactly. The humans got lazy. They just turn on the television or radio and just get it that way, and that's it. And then they shut their minds off.
Right.
Not realizing how fragile this incarnation is, how important it is.
Yeah, they don't place much, significance on themselves, us as a collective, because, we're taught to just believe our material senses, that there's nothing more than what we can see and what science can prove.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of changes. We feel that, yes, your spiritual communities are going to get stronger. There's going to be a lot of scandals within it because beings are trying to take it over. But yeah, all this spiritual growth is going to get bigger and bigger, though. This will become more of the mainstream spirituality as the churches begin to, disappear.
Yeah, well, the religion has gotten lazy, and they think they could take over spirituality with the same tactics. It's not going to work the same. Yeah. It will get it bigger, though. So it's
working with some people, but you can kind of see the lies going on, as you can tell now.
Yep.
So, yeah. A lot of mind. Yeah, as well as known as mind control. It's just now things could have changed every 100 years. Things can change. Like even like the 1850s, 1800s, you could have had your aliens. Things come in different, but yes, there was a hijacking there that was kind of impossible to get out of. But 1800s should have went a lot differently for your modern world, though. So it made things more harder. Your technology was brought here and just made things more intense, as you can see. So
yeah, it was. I think it was that push towards there was more millionaires on the planet than ever before in history at that time, and there was a push towards materialism and expansion in the Industrial Revolution after that.
yeah, it's more of a But that's what the Illuminati likes to, or elite, whatever you want to call them. They like to they want to put material, because they want to keep materialism going, because that's part of the control. And some humans are just not sophisticated enough to see through all that.
That's their bait.
Well, because humans are taught to, and be insecure, and it's all about looks, and be a certain person in public, and all those type of things. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for that lesson.
Okay, I'll ask questions if nobody else is.
I'm sorry,
What?
I thought my mic was off, but you can go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yes,
go
ma'am.
ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, I've been getting a lot of intuitive hits and just like streams of consciousness of everything, and I'm just wondering who's around me, who wants to who's impacting me or giving me energy or helping me with energy, my analytical processes.
There's a Pleiadian energy around. There's Arcturians, of course. I feel like the Pleiadian energy is helping you through your government job. So.
Oh yeah, it's good.
It feels like you're going through a karmic incarnation at this time, so you are where you need to be at this time.
Yes. Also, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Oh, can you provide any input about situation in Cuba? Like, is that going to get any better?
It's manipulation.
Yeah.
So, but society's going to break. I mean, eventually, a lot of these, there'll be more Cubans in the world. Communism will start to break down. It's just that the borders are going to eventually start to open up, but not yet. But it's slowly showing that there'll be a lot more diversity on the planet.
Okay.
It's slowly happening, but not the. It's so, but it's a psyop basically.
Also, there's no regime change. It's just a distraction.
I don't see any regime change. No. It's it's all manufactured.
That's very unfortunate. Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Michael.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Gosh, my train of thought. Man. Lisa, let me go after you because I've lost train of thought. Let me go after you, Lisa.
Can you tell me more about my Lemurian lifetime? Because that's the first for me.
As energies connected to the oceans, living in underwater cities, castles. But the Lemurian connections are mostly from another planet, though. So just another planet parallel to Earth.
Kind of like a mermaid?
Something similar to that. I mean, that's the modern version, but basically just a human that can swim underwater, basically. And breathe underwater. Yeah. I mean, you can change your form. You can change yourself to a fish if you wanted to. So.
Was that one also feline connected?
Somewhat. It was more human connected at that time. At least Lemurian connected. Not so much.
It was. Was it connected to a god of a god of any kind? Like, like Roman gods or Greek gods or
Well, later on, yes, but not during the time, no. Yeah, because a
just kind
lot
of
of
free living?
yeah, yeah, it had no structure or anything, no.
Okay.
Yeah, that was. I mean, they had connections to the Romans to help Romans go to sea and everything. Yes, and America was discovered actually back in Roman times, even before that. But we don't need to get into that.
So, was it kind of like just really natural?
Yes.
Coral and beauty and fish?
Well, it was a lot more. I mean, just everyone was more telepathically connected. It was like a paradise here.
Okay.
But just you're so used to the war mentality on this planet, you forgot a lot of it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Thank
difficult
you.
to see it. So yes.
Thank you.
Yes, round.
Yes.
I thought I had just 2 lifetime. Of course, I'm not a Christian. I'm just spiritual. But I found out that I had 2 lifetimes in the Bible, and now it seems like I've had even more. Could you tell me a little bit about it?
Well, you see, I've had past life. One of your names is Zechariah. During Roman times. I feel like you were kind of like a Jewish priest. So, but you weren't racist like many were. Romans are racist against Jews. Jews are racist against Romans. Well, for reasons, because the Romans are trying to conquer them all the time. But yes, you're definitely there during the Jesus times. But not showing what you were doing there. Some of that seems to be hidden. At least right now, it's hidden. But yes, you've been 100 times of Moses. Doesn't mean you knew Moses, but you were around during those times, though. A lot of times in Jericho.
Yes, I heard that. I remember hearing that. Yes.
So yeah, you've been around. Just,
Okay.
I mean, the teachings of Jesus is basically kind of what you're doing now, on the metaphysical level.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't mean it has to be connected to Jesus at all, but he was just there to remind people of their connection, though. So.
Okay, and back to the subject I brought up earlier. After this webinar, is there any chances of me connecting with Bigfoot if I go down there?
Well, you don't have to go down anywhere. You can walk around, but you can just go outside.
Yeah, I was told that I could stay in my room and do it,
Yeah, you
but
can do that too.
but it seems like more of a physical. We're humans with amnesia, and it seems like more of a physical contact would be even better.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if you want to go outside, well, go where you want to go. Seems like you need to go to certain areas to connect. To clear out your blockages and be more comfortable with this connection. Now, if they're going to show up, that's up to them. They're not saying anything. It's kind of like a secret, a surprise. So anything's possible.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Blessings.
James, you got your hand up?
Oh yeah. Guess I'll go. So I was wondering about like my technology, like my Apple Watch. Like when I wear it, it feels kind of uncomfortable. Is that like a energy thing?
Well, it's the programming that's in it. Yeah, you're rejecting its manipulation. So yeah, it's trying to get into your DNA. I don't believe it will, but it's trying to. It's like a control watch. It does have an agenda, though.
I see.
It has nanotechnology connected to it.
Oh, and about my VR headset, like is that like the controllers for that Is that kind of beneficial or not really?
Well, it doesn't seem like that has any negative connection at all. It seems that that's fine. You would
Was
think
it-
there would be manipulation there, but I don't see it there with yours, at least.
I think it's healing because it's got
Yeah.
like infrared
Yeah.
lights or whatever it is.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's doing you any harm at all. It feels like it's, if there was a manipulation there, you cleared it out. So yeah, it seems to be working with your energy. Yeah, it's like helping you open up your crown chakra, it seems.
Oh, yeah, I'm making games with it. And so is my ability to code, is that like a Zeta download or?
Yeah. Syrian. I'm serious.
Okay. Because they told me that like intuitive or like psychic abilities was more of my Zeta side or Zeta downloads.
That's part of it. It's also Arcturian. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, you have you connect to many. The Arcturian seems to be very powerful with you right now. You have Andromeda, but it feels like the Arcturian is the strongest at the moment.
Oh, I was wondering about my lifetimes like as a human as I was able to breathe underwater. Did I stay underwater like all the time, or was I more like going back and forth between land and water?
Is this a Lemurian connection or?
Yeah, like a Lemurian human.
Yes, you can come in and out of water. You can also, you're a shapeshifter. So yes, you can show up as a fish underwater and then appear as a human. You can actually take the shape of a whale and then a blue whale and then appear as a human. Of course, a lot of the fish animals back in Lemuria are not here currently. So I think they have some pictures of the beings. They're a lot more fierce. Well, there's a lot of lighter vibrations, but yeah, kind of like a glowfish energy was back then. They had very colorful, peaceful energies back then. But yes, you're a shapeshifter that can just go above Earth very easily, breathe air, not a problem. But yes, you were part of the Mer people. I believe you were a king in one of the Mer city centers. I believe it was in the Pacific Ocean. Like you had your own little area to protect. So.
Oh, I haven't really connected to the Zetas.
You have a connection to the Zetas?
No, Ivan.
Oh, of course, yes.
So when I first started joining Ivan's webinars, I would like kind of exhale. I guess it was a shamanic breathing. It was kind of like the way Ivan kind of laughs sometimes. Is that the same thing? Is that like a Zeta healing?
Yes. Yeah, you're clearing out your throat chakra. Yeah. Yeah. You also clear out your crown chakra, it feels like. Blockages. You clear out blockages.
I see. Thank you.
Yes.
I'd like to get confirmation on one thing. You were talking about the Bible earlier, and I was curious to know if the roles were reversed in the story of Jesus's execution, Yeshua's execution, where Pontius Pilate was actually the one that was insisting to kill him, while the Jewish priests were actually, trying to save him in that situation, in order for them to hijack the religion and his teachings later on and make Rome look as, the good guy in a sense.
Well, there's different timelines, of course. Some of the Jewish priests wanted him to survive, but others did want him to go, because some of them were connected to the Romans. So yeah, they were all about hijacking Jesus's energy.
Right.
They wanted his power. So yeah, they felt he was a threat to their wealth, and they didn't want to lose their kingdom, you can say. But there were some that were dead against it. Just leave them alone.
Okay. Would you be able to, help me understand my relationship back then when I had a lifetime there. I was being chased down by the Philistines. Can you share what exactly was the conflict going on there?
Well, you were like a priest, but you were more like a magician. You're just filled with magic. You just knew things. You just did things. Yeah, and you were seen as a threat. So you're like your own version of Jesus, but not exactly. And yeah,
had this feeling in a meditation that I knew Jesus in his lifetime, and I gave him a place to stay, to hide him out.
Yeah, you're more like an elder. Yeah.
Yeah, I was older than him, but that's because I came straight off of a previous lifetime in Egypt after that.
Yeah, because you were connected to the same power he was connected to.
Right.
You went about it differently.
That's why I was connected to him, and that's why I felt the need to protect him.
Yeah.
To give him safety. But then after that, I kind of had the feeling that it was going to come down to me eventually, and then I had to skip town also.
Yeah, because you already had rumors about you already, but they kind of left you alone because you weren't getting that much attention. But with him roaming around everything, kind of ruined it for everybody. So if this guy's doing it, others are going to do it too. So
yeah, and I probably had the feeling like it's about time.
Yes. No. I mean, it's been erased from history, but the vibrations are still here. And some of those that killed Jesus were part of the Nazi party.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just a never-ending cycle of control on this planet, and crush any opposing views. I have one more question, and I was looking to see when I first had like what you called my awakening or my matrix moment. I was reading the Bible, and I was like smoking a little marijuana at the time, and then I was like emotionally connected with the people in the stories. Like I could understand why they were doing what they were doing, so I guess I was empathizing with them in the story, and then I started visualizing myself in the room with them, to the point where I was in the room with them, and then I shut the book because it felt like that movie Never Ending Story, where the kid's reading the book and he puts them right in the story. And then when I closed the book and looked up, I saw the whole room was the same color, and it full of like little vibrating like midi-chlorian kind of things. And it was like a speculated version of reality where everything was vibrating but made of the same thing in the same color. Can you tell me a little bit more of what I was connecting into there?
Well, yes, you're bringing that realm into your realm, and it's just because you have connections with it in your past life, so it's easy for you to tap into it.
Was that an elemental connection there?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that what you call ether, or what kind of element was that?
Well, you say like a pocket reality. So books are portals. So you just when you open up a book, it's like you open up a portal.
Right.
That was an ancient book, what it feels like. So.
Oh, the Bible, of course, right?
Yeah. So you're tapping in, you're decoding the control and allowing the reality to come in. It's the true reality.
Yeah. Working on it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, nothing else to do.
No, yeah, you're gonna, just. Oh, I see you working with buildings. Like clearing out some of their antenna manipulation that's going on.
Right. There's skyscrapers here.
Yeah, some of those skyscrapers might eventually go down.
Oh, really?
They can't do their magic anymore. Like when their purpose is over, they go away, and they just fall away, and nobody knows why. Hasn't happened yet, of course.
Right. Is that connected with the moon as well? Right. Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Blessings.
Ruby's had her hand up, but if she's not going to talk, I will ask you a question.
No, you can go ahead. She's not hearing me.
Okay. This is pretty dirty, and I don't like to do this, but my ex-wife, Archangel Michael and Ganesh, has told me that she's not in her mind, and she's on like drugs, some kind of drugs. and she has my 11-year-old daughter. Okay, and I hate to be dirty and call somebody down there and have her drug tested or whatever, but I think my daughter would be in better hands up here in North Carolina with me. And I don't know, but my daughter is an open-minded. She's from Palladian, her last life. She's open-minded, and she sees her mother's faults at this young of an age. And I'd hate to do something that dirty, but of course, you probably know what my ex-wife has done to me.
Yes,
I
we
mean,
have to. Yes, you have to watch out for karma on you for doing something like that. So you have to just be careful.
so if I did something like that, it would cause karma on me.
Yeah, it could possibly.
Yeah, then
Sometimes
I'm not gonna.
you just have to let things. I mean, unless she's like being harm. I mean, yeah, she's being a pain, but she's not actually harming the child. So, you gotta let the universe do its thing. Because, I mean, you can follow your feelings, but we feel like it won't work properly. It just makes things worse.
Okay, I won't do it.
It feels like things are. Yeah, it feels like you already have a disconnect already. It'll just become more disconnected.
Yes, and I don't want that at all. No.
Yeah, I mean, you can soul search on it and ask your guides to give you more insight, but it's between the daughter and her. The two of them are trying to figure things out.
Yeah, and I could cry a river because I've missed so much of my daughter's life because of her, and I'll never get that back.
Well, that's karma on the mother. Yeah, that's karma on her.
Yeah, but I will never get that time back. Never. And that's the fun times when a child is, I left her when she was 4, and that's the fun time, and I will never get that back in this lifetime. So it's just I don't know. It's just so hard.
But you don't want to go after the mother. It's not a good idea. They'll make things 100 times worse.
Yeah, and trust me, I'll use your advice.
You'll regret it forever. You regret it more than you're already going through now.
Okay, you made up my mind. Okay.
I mean, it's okay to have thoughts like that. But
I really don't recommend getting child services involved, because if you make that call, it's instantaneous that they're going to get involved, and you have no idea what the government that we have now, what's going to happen. I've been through anger management classes before. I staked my kid's butt and left a spot on his butt and ended up having to deal with them back in the 90s. But I couldn't do it today.
Lisa, you broke up, but we can talk later. But I agree with you, Lisa. And of course, Round, I agree. I'm not.
There's a probability, you or not you or the mother have custody of the child. So you have to be careful.
But Ganesh told me that it was up in the air in the future that I could have custody of my daughter.
Yeah, but you don't go about it that way, though.
Yes. But I told like as you told me, and Lisa gave me her information, I'm not going to do that.
Yes.
So that's but so is it still up in the air that I can?
Well, I would just let it be. This isn't really the right place for this.
Okay, sorry. All right, blessings.
Yeah, child services isn't probably the best to get involved. Like Brown said, that you might not, neither one of you will end up with it when you sign those birth certificates.
They want to gather as many kids for themselves as possible.
Yeah, before you leave the hospital with the baby, you sign the birth certificate, and the state claims the rights to the child
Yeah.
if the father is unable to,
Mhm.
and then the father doesn't even sign it. So in a claim of it, they can overlook the father easily.
Yeah.
In that case, and neither party will get the child.
Right.
So it's best not to go down that route.
Yeah.
Wow.
All this is designed for dysfunctional families. It's all done by design.
Yeah, exactly. I'd just like to ask one last personal question. It's from my higher self. I was looking to see if he has any messages on how to be more open-minded and less stubborn.
You are healing a lot of actually artificial intelligence, at least the energies that are here. So you're getting bombarded by artificial and AI agendas. You're not always aware of it because there's so much of it. Basically, it says Archon energy. So just clearing out AI manipulations can help you have more clarity here. It's so because your energy soaks in so much, but you're protecting yourself too. But it's hard to decipher what is going on here. But a lot of it's just our AI. Even cities are like AI cities, basically.
Right.
Modern. So clearing that out will give you more connecting you with nature, even connecting you to Agartha, actually. So if you just clear out AI, just anything that's connected to it, most likely your Agarthian connections will come through more clearly. Possibly a bird might talk to you also.
Yeah. I've seen nature and animals interacting with me more sensitive. Seems like they're more sensitive to my vibration than humans are at this moment. But
because humans are under a mind control. Well, because nature responds to, oh, look, he's just like us.
I got that big energy.
Yeah, you tap into their realm, so they recognize you.
Very cool. Well, thank you for that.
Yes, I believe you must be going. Also, so send you energies, sending you a kind visitation from alien energies. So you are doing well in your exploration of yourself. So